Hey, Shante.
Hey Ashley, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you. Um, we have the option to mute specific people. So, right now I also enabled like a waiting room. So right now we have one person in the waiting room.
Okay.
Yep. So otherwise, we are all good to go. I told Marcus I'd invite him because he wants to just come.
Yay.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and send this to him.
Um, and so they're gonna come in on mute, you said?
Yep, everybody will come in on mute.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I when created the meeting, that's how I set it up. I forgot that I had done that though.
Okay, gotcha. And I don't think the way to have them come in with no video, right? I don't think that's a thing.
Sorry, say that one more time.
I don't think it's a thing for them to come in with no video, right? We can't limit or disable video.
Yeah, I don't think we can.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah, at least I don't think so. I don't see that as an option in the settings.
Yeah.
Um, Especially because with our current setting, I don't have the ability to make like co-hosts
Oh.
like on my team.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had that, then I would just make it so that all attendees, which you wouldn't be classified as that, would be
I see what you're saying. Yeah, but because of the fact that it's on you, hard to do. Got it.
so
Yeah. Okay. Well, if anything, I have the agenda up. We're gonna kind of just go over the first. I kind of made it a little different so that there's more interaction in the comment section.
right.
Because I'm on my phone, I may be able to see some of the comments pop up on the side, but if
Okay.
you could kind of support by just like saying some of the comments, that would be helpful. Because I think that's the only downside with being on the phone. You can't really um can't keep the chat section up completely the way that I would want to via the like if I was on my laptop or whatever.
Yeah, that reminds me that I wanted to join the camera part on my phone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it just works better for the cutting
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
dimensions, and then um I'll just have this one to monitor the chat.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah. So the icebreaker while you're doing your stuff, the icebreaker is kind of just to for us, of course, I'll be asking some questions for everyone to kind of respond and put their comments in the chat. But the idea is for us to be able to like, give our back and forth like we typically do. So I kind of started with the share one financial win um, and or one financial loss you had recently
Hmm.
so that people can just kind of talk about some of those things. Maybe that starts a little bit of a, getting things warmed up for financial conversations and stuff like that. But then the next part is kind of like uh, it's called a game. It's really not a game. It's just if you would consider this to be a scam or a side hustle.
Okay.
And there's three different options. And I kind of wanted to make it like a little gray for some of them. So I'll kind of go over like the idea of like the ones that like join this company and then all you need to do to get more money is to like bring in two more people. So like we all know what that is. And like be able to like talk about that and ask people in the chat like have you ever had that experience? What would you consider to be do you see this as a scam or not? So I tried to make the first couple points as like a little bit more interactive than we usually do so that people can just kind of put their own thoughts in the chat. And then lastly, it's just two questions of how we typically do with our conversations of have you ever um, thought something was legit and turned out to be a scam? If so, like how did you lose money or time or whatever? And then the other one is if money when money's tight and a scam sounds believable, what advice to someone feeling that pressure would you, give and what would you support them with and stuff like that. So the first kind of portion of it is just kind of like us giving our own personal ideas and feelings to stuff. And then the
Hmm.
part is like the conversation, like how we typically do. So I try to make it a little bit more interactive to how we typically have conversation. I just want people to
Yeah.
be kind of give their own thoughts in the chat and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Um, so I'm gonna see myself twice, but I am on my laptop.
Okay.
That's what I have, but I'm facing my phone. So we'll see how this goes. I'm just making sure that I'm able to see the chat. That's what I want to have up. Uh, just let me know when you're ready to admit the people. We have 2 people in the waiting room right now.
Okay. Yeah.
And then,
Once
but
once it turns 6:30, we can start letting people in.
okay.
And if you want to kind of just I'll give it like 2 or 3 minutes after we start to then, get the ball rolling. Um,
Okay.
just to give some people a couple more minutes to get in. And then
Yeah, I think just for the sake of like keeping things flowing, because like having 2 or 3 minutes ends up being like the longest 60 seconds or 120 seconds ever. I'd rather use that time to ask the questions of the people who are already here, to kind of get that started. And then if others join, we can kind of have them in. But because we'd have other people kind of waiting, I'm hesitant to say like, oh, we're just gonna give other people a chance to join, considering it's more so like our live.
okay.
Um, I'd rather jump into the icebreaker.
Okay.
Because right now, oh yeah, we now have, oh, that's Marcus's one. But we have, I think your sister joined as well. So we have 4 people now kind of
Okay.
wait.
Yeah, we'll do the icebreaker. We can let everyone do the icebreaker, and then I'll also use that time to remind people about the population survey. So that should give enough
Yep.
of a buffer, and then we'll get started with the scam or side hustle stuff.
Yeah, and I did send out the population survey in the reminder that went out about an hour ago.
Okay, great, great, great.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Hold on just a second. Let me grab some water because I've been dealing with a cough.
Mm.
Um, okay. So you good for me to admit everyone?
Yeah, let's get going.
All right. Okay. So we have everyone admitted, at least so far. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is the first time that we are doing Money Talk Live. If you aren't familiar with us, our company name is Shantae Thea Consulting. I am Ashley. I'm actually our COO. And then Shantae is on the Money Talk as well. So
Hi.
thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to start with our icebreaker, and Shantae is going to kick us off.
Yeah, I'm super excited. We've been doing these chats for a while. We're on number 5, which is kind of crazy. I feel like we just started this. But I wanted to ask the question to you, Ashley, and for everyone who's here, put it down in the chat for us to be able to look and see exactly what your responses are too. But today, before we get into today's topic, I want to ask the question of what's one financial win or financial loss you've had recently? So one win or one loss. I will kick it off by saying I think it's like 2 parts for me, win and loss. I recently just had to book all of my flights for the holidays. And it's a win because you know me, I love me a good credit card and points and things of that nature. So I was like, yes, I've gotten points. I had some credit with one of the airlines and I had some points. So that's a financial one to be able to use it. The loss was like, I should have booked this earlier. So it's like a win and a loss because of the fact of like, I'm glad that I have the points, but it could have gone way further if I booked early. And for those who are booking for the holidays, 8 weeks if you're international, please book your stuff early. We're already like at the end of the year, which is so crazy to me. So yeah, just both a win and a loss in that way. How about you?
I would say for myself, my financial loss has kind of been more on the travel side as well. More so because just spending the money on travel, whether that's the flight, or hotels, like all of those things are a little bit more on the interesting side for expenses. But I would say financial wins is that I decided to invest more starting in Q3. And so even with some of the financial, I'll say turbulence that's been happening in the market, I've actually still been able to get some good financial wins and loss, well, financial wins from that. I am taking a look at the chat here. We have some comments here. Thank you all for who are putting in the chat. I see that Damien is wedding planning. Congratulations. So he says financial win, side eye. So I definitely get you there because, yeah, weddings are great because they're fun to an extent, the planning part, but also it is a lot of money that you end up kind of checking out to get the day that is going to be memorable. But remember, it's always for the marriage is the most important part. I'll speak to that for someone who wedding planned about 4 years ago now. And I see that Marcus, he has a financial win and loss. And that one, for the win, he paid off one of his student loans. All right, win. And then, but he said because of that win, his credit score kind of went down with paying that loan. That's something that you'll see with just in general with loans, whether that's a mortgage, a car note, paying them off. Just kind of dings your credit score for just like a tiny little bit, maybe like a month or two, and then it'll kind of bounce back and only go up from there, onward and upward.
Okay, well, yeah, I it's funny because I feel like both of those answers were both wins and losses in like really interesting ways. So yeah, I can
Yeah.
that. So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad everyone was able to kind of chime in with that. But with that being said, if you guys have any more wins and losses, put that in the chat. And just to remind you all that because we sent this out earlier, we always love to hear from you guys. So we did send out a survey for more in-depth financial conversation. So if you guys are able to complete that survey, we just want to hear from you guys. Your voice matters in regards to what's happening in our community in regards to financial literacy and how you feel about it. So we'll definitely send that out as well at the end of this live so that you guys can kind of talk about that as well.
Yeah, we just had a couple more financial wins come in. Margaret is saying that she has some investments in the stock market that have done well.
Okay.
Awesome. Margaret, we
Okay.
do have future sessions that'll be talking more about stock investing, so we'd love to have you on those as well. And then Ariel mentioned that her financial win is a recent spike in side hustle income. All right, side hustle, which is the topic for today. And then financial loss is that it requires more investments. Yeah, the financial investment initially upfront to support those side hustles. So yeah, awesome.
That
Great question. Great info in the chat helps us to get to know you better.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure. And I'm glad that we talked about side hustles because that takes us into our discussion today. I kind of put this all of our socials about the idea of a scam versus a side hustle and what that really looks like. I think when you're first getting into the fact of I want to make some more money or I want to be able to secure some more whatever, you start thinking, okay, I can make this work and push my money faster or get it quicker. And sometimes what you think is a good side hustle may actually be a scam. So I have a couple here that I have written out that I want to kind of get everyone's opinion on it. For sure, you, Ashley. So in the chat, like put down if you think this is a scam or a side hustle. So the first one I have, which I feel like we've all had this experience already. A friend says, join this company. You'll make money really fast. All you need to do is like bring in like 2 or 3 more people. Is that a scam or a side hustle? What do you say?
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm coming in.
Damn. Oh my gosh. I think when I was growing up, I mean, I'm pretty sure it still exists now, but those situations happened a lot. If anything, I think I had that happen to me a lot in college. A couple of friends would come
Mhm.
up to me, and it's always interesting the ways that they come, like, oh my goodness, I'm doing so well in this new venture. First of all, saying venture in college, I don't believe. What is that? What is a venture in college? Like, just understanding those experiences definitely for sure. So I say it's a scam. I understand
Yes.
that a lot of people in certain circumstances may think, oh, it is fast money. It's not. It's a whole situation that you have to get yourself into, and then you're like spiraling. Oh, I need to get these three more people, and then I'll get to this one level that really doesn't exist. So that's my.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, no, it definitely a scam. All of the comments are in agreement that it's a scam. I did see a comment from Damien saying pandemic money making scam. And that's something that I did see heavier in the pandemic time, where, and I'm not sure if you guys heard this as well, where somebody might have been like, well, join this phone call. So they wouldn't tell you exactly what it was that
Mhm.
they like wanted you to join. And I'm just like, what? What are you talking about right now? And it was actually like that. And I think the term that they like to say that's nicer versus like pyramid scheme is multi-level marketing, or they might call it MLM for short. It's
Yep.
the same exact thing. There are certain companies that are more prominent in doing it, but it's all the same thing. And we definitely want to make sure that like our audience, our community is very much familiar with this, because you end up sinking a lot of time and
Mhm.
money into these programs, I'll call them, and they are not worth your time, effort, energy, none of it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of promise for a little bit of effort. And typically, there's some certain words that you hear that sound a little bit suspicious or too good to be true. Like if something's too good to be true, ask questions, ask around. I know I had a friend of mine that was interested in that, and I asked her question like, okay, so why would I want to do this? Or do you have more information? And if they're sending you to send to somebody else to send to somebody else to have like three different meetings, it's probably going to be a scam in that regard. And it's probably not going to be worth your time. So I agree. I think we all say it's a scam, something to stay away
Yeah.
from. If you are concerned or not too sure, do your research. Please do your research on those in those situations so that you don't get duped in that situation. So, okay, cool.
Yeah, and we did have another comment too that I do think is important, is that they were saying, Curtis mentioned, sometimes the people who invite you may not know that it's a scam, and that's important.
Mhm.
I think we talked about this before, Shantae. You have a funny story that you wanted to tell me about a couple times that this happened to you with friends.
Oh yeah. So that was one of the things I was thinking about. Like my friend was so excited about this new experience. And I think for me, because I had been approached a few times to these types of experiences of bring someone in or we can help you do this or whatever the case may be, I saw the warning bells as soon as I walked in the door. Like as soon as I sat down, I was like, there's that really obvious or weird looking table of treats and like this huge board and like then they started. The thing that got me was when they started with the clap. Everyone was kind of clapping together. Like the whole team came out. I was like, why does this feel like a show? Yeah. And
Okay.
also, I feel like sometimes in those situations, they make it in a way that if you were to leave, it's really awkward. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I felt like, okay, I can't step out and leave this whole presentation because typically it's a presentation.
Yeah.
So that was one of those things. It was the clapping and the everyone dancing to a song coming in. I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. But I sat through
Yeah.
and talked to them. I was like, you sure you want to do this? But yeah, sometimes it's possible that people aren't aware. But for me, I've been through some of these a couple times over, so I can kind of spot the warning signs a little early. So yeah.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of when people are in those timeshare presentations and you feel that pressure to
Mhm.
like sign up for the timeshare and do like the spend all your money when you know that's not really what you want. I think that that's the toughest part, especially if you have a friend with you that's really excited about it. Maybe they heard about it first and invited you to come along with them, and they're really excited. You don't want to dim their excitement, but at the same time, you know that it's probably not the best thing for either of you. That's when you might have to like pull them to the side, and have that conversation. Just be like, yeah, I don't know about this one for me, and make sure that you are confident in that. And that, of course, if they decide to go ahead with it, that's on them. But at least
Yeah.
you guys had that conversation, so you're on the same page.
Agree. Totally agree. If anything, I think that one of the things that is helpful in that situation is to understand that financially speaking, if you have an opportunity on the table to be able to X times your money or to be able to go into a new venture, it should not be rushed. You should think through this process. You should, be able to look at all the fine print, if there is fine print to the situation, and ask different people that you know that are in the industry, or find someone who's in the industry if you feel like you're a little bit out of your wits. But don't allow anyone that feels like they have more knowledge over you to decide to pressure you into anything, especially
Yeah.
like well, if you don't sign today, you'll never be able to. Trust me.
Yeah.
When it comes to financial opportunities, there's a lot of different ways to get into the same door sometimes. And don't allow someone to make you feel like this is the one shot you have. And if you don't take it today, you're not going to be able to do it again. So yeah, totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another one, which I think this one's going to be a little bit more controversial. It starts off by saying, work for yourself, be your own boss. Scam or side hustle? Do you think that being your own boss and working for yourself and being able to own your own time and all the things, is that a side hustle or a scam? What do you guys think?
I'm watching the chats closely.
Okay. Because my thought process is that it's a side hustle, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's not as straightforward as most people think it's supposed to be. And that's why I said, like, it's gray area for me, because like, it's not just, oh, I stopped working for other people and now I own my own XYZ. Like, no, there's
Yeah.
a lot of work that goes into being able to be your own boss, work for yourself. Like, yes, you
Yeah.
can be able to like do the things that you truly want to do, but it's a lot of like groundwork you have to lay. So it's like a side hustle, but if not done correctly, it could turn into a scam because it sucks your energy and time.
Yeah, I feel like on Instagram, and we're getting a lot of comments in here, so I'll get those in just a minute. I feel like on Instagram there is a, not just Instagram, social media, there is this anti 9 to 5 mentality where like if you have a 9 to 5, like you should be shamed, like you can't be an influencer and still love your 9 to 5. And that's something that I think is so interesting to see, because now maybe just based on my timeline, I'm seeing more people who are like, no, I'm an influencer and I have however many followers, but I also actually like my job, and I've had my corporate job or however job for however long, and I actually want to keep it. um I do want to look at the comments though. I see a lot of scams in here. I have a question from Abby, was like, how hard am I expected to work?
Good
That's
question.
yeah.
Good question.
Yeah.
One of the things that isn't talked about a lot, and I think that kind of goes to what you're explaining with that whole mentality of like shaming a 9 to 5. It's like you should be your own boss. You should, take control of what you want to do. But like, how much time does that take to do? Like a 9 to 5 is typically 9 to 5, but like side hustle
Yeah.
for yourself, that's 10 to 10 or 11 to 11. Like it's the entire time, because really and truly you are supposed to provide every single thing for yourself versus being able to get some subsidy or some support by working for an employer where you just put in your time and be able to get back what you want from it. So I'm actually happy to hear some people are saying scam, because I'm like, really? I'm surprised. Most people are like, oh yeah, it's a side hustle. You got this, girl. But I'm like, oh, okay. I'm seeing some people saying scam.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing the funny comments. I'm laughing over here. Ariel calls it a hoodwink. Most people are calling it a scam. And then Damien said, can be both. Most people are scamming themselves. And that is true.
Right
That
there.
is true.
Scamming
Exactly.
yourself. Yeah, no, I totally get that, because you sometimes you really do believe that, oh, if I can just get this one thing or I can just do this one thing, it'll all work out. Because I mean, unfortunately, there is a lot of gloss and glitter around the idea of being an entrepreneur, to have your own business. And there are some people that strike gold to be able to say, well, I started this and within 6 months I was six
Yeah.
figures. And honestly, they do get online and they express that, which is good. We're happy to hear some, positives out of that situation. But then you're going after that and that same idea, like, oh, in 6 months I'll be, a six-figure business and I'll be able to do this, at the other. It's like, yeah, no, that's not always the route that everyone is able to take, or the results that everyone's gonna have. So I think it sits right in between scam and side hustle because of the fact of how much work and effort you need to put into it. And deciding to let go of your 9 to 5 to say, I'm going to pursue this full time. I think the scamming part is thinking that you should do that before you're able to be stable in whatever you're trying to do. So that's probably the part that I would say is kind of the scam part of, don't think it's going to be easy or simple to be able to do. But you can put an effort to make you're working for yourself a full time opportunity. It's just not easy. Any other comments in the chat?
Nope, that is all.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm actually happy to hear that some people are kind of a little bit more understanding to the fact of what working for yourself looks like, because I think that's an insight for me, because I've always thought that similar to what you heard, that the glitter and the glitz of being an entrepreneur is kind of what everyone's trying to do. But I am okay with my W-2. I like the fact of having a W-2, as well as doing the work that we do at CAC and be able to support other people. And, maybe in the future, this becomes everything that we do. But I think it's quite all right to be able to say I clock in and I clock out for my W-2, be able to do what my passion is on the side and have it that way. Yeah. But with that being said, I think one of the questions I kind of wanted to close out with, because I know we're close to time, is just for those people, because we talked about two different opportunities of, like, okay, someone's coming to you saying, hey, you have opportunity to make fast money within this company, just get 2 more people in, or hey, work for yourself. Typically, anyone that goes into these opportunities hoping for more finances are usually in tight positions with their money. So I guess the question I want to kind of pose to everyone here, as well as for you, Ashley, is when money is tight, I know a lot of the times people fall prey to scams a lot easier and quicker because of the fact that I need fast money, I need something quickly. I'll just do this because it sounds like it's believable, like, or the person's very convincing and I'm already vulnerable financially in the situation. So what advice would you give to someone that's feeling that pressure so that they don't get duped by anyone that's coming to them, or scrolling on social media and thinking they can do the thing that they're seeing that everyone's saying is so easy and so quick? What advice would you give to them in that situation?
I would say that the best thing would probably be to consider it how you would consider investments. So typically the advice when giving or when starting to invest is to not put any money in the market that you wouldn't mind possibly losing. And I think that's probably the same mentality when it comes to these get rich quick. And that could be the same thing with any type of investment, whether that's crypto or somebody saying that they have a real estate investment that they know can go well. Like, there is no 100% guarantee in anything. Even when we talk about like investments such as real estate, like, all of those things at this point have some sort of risk to them. Just the level of risk is can fluctuate based on like whatever type it is. And if you aren't willing to lose it, then you shouldn't do it. And if your money is tight, that's where to me investing in something that is more traditional or well, traditional can even be a high yield savings account, something that actually is going to end up being slower, but has been proven to give return. And that can be investing in an ETF or an exchange traded fund. That can be having your high yield savings account to pay you out in dividends. Those all are things that don't sound flashy, but have all been proven to work. And it could be honestly even investing in someone's business, if you know that you're okay with losing the money. That's the thing. If you're okay with losing the money, then I think that it's okay for that risk.
That makes sense. And I agree with the idea that if everything has a risk to it, some are low, some are high, And whatever money that you put in, you're risking to see that you'll never see it again. And you have to kind of become comfortable with the idea of that, even in the situations where there's more less risk on the table for your high yield savings or doing your more traditional investment opportunities and things of that nature. So I definitely agree with that. I think one thing I would say is if money is tight, you need to start thinking more about the emergency plan you have in place versus the fact of just how much money you can bring in the door. And I know there is a lot of times where it's like, okay, well, I can't make ends meet, so I need more money. But sometimes you may need to look at your budget and what you have as an emergency plan to be able to support yourself a little bit better, to get yourself in a better position. So I found a lot of times working with clients in the past that especially when it came to looking for jobs and resume and putting out your application, taking anything because your money is tight puts you in a vulnerable position. And if we just step back to see, okay, what do we have going on with our budget? Are there ways I could actually cut out a couple of things of what I have for my expenses to make myself have a little bit more breathing room? Have I already started to put money aside toward emergency fund to support myself if I need 1 or 2 months worth of buffer against my expenses and things of that nature? So I know that we talk about in full detail in the ebook that we have our manual, Money Made Friendly manual, that all about the different things to do for emergency planning and emergency funds. So that's definitely something we go into deeply in the manual. But really and truly, I always advocate, if things feel very tight, to get breathing room. Sometimes you need to step back and see what you're dealing with, then to be able to put a game plan in place to get yourself out of that circumstance. Because more money is great, but if you don't have a good system in place, it really doesn't make a difference if you get money fast, because the money will go away just as quickly because of the fact that you don't have a system in place. And a lot of times, it's not how much money you have coming in the door, it's how you manage it. And we really try our best to educate others on different opportunities to be able to get more monies and to be able to do investing and savings and things of that nature. But then also having that strong foundation of, how's your budget set up? Where are you sending your money to when it comes to savings? How do you have your different accounts put together? And a lot of times, education on how to set up your financial future and your financial accounts is way more impactful than just getting another $1,000 in the door to support you through a really tough time. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I don't see any questions in the comments. So I have one more question that I want to ask you, Shantae, because we are talking about both scams and side hustles, and we've kind of focused a little bit more on the scam side. But as far as side hustles, like for those who are trying to figure it out, like how would you suggest that a person can find a side hustle that works for them, something that they'd actually like be excited to do, even if it takes them a while to make the money for it?
That's a good question. I'd say side hustles to figure out what works for them and what gets them excited. What are they interested in doing on their free time? What do you typically surround yourself with? What are you trying to find out more knowledge or information about? And what do you feel like you have a knack for? It may be something physical, being able to create products or items to that you give to friends, or I know one of my friends, she's really good with cake making. She liked to do it on the side, just randomly like to do it, and like doing different designs and things of that nature. That could be a side hustle if you wanted to, and make different cakes for family and friends, or expand out and say for the community, I'll do different community events and bring those baked goods. So whatever you like to do in your free time is a good place to start with, because if you have a passion for it, it's typically going to be easier for you to weather the storm. Because side hustles, there will be storms. There'll be times where you're so excited and everything's going well and things are great, and other times where it's like, ooh, it's this little downtime or season that you don't particularly love. So if you have some sort of a knack or a passion, or just also very curious about it, really truly trying to learn more about it, that's probably a good place to start with that. And just starting small with friends and family, asking questions, providing them what they feel like they need or support, and then growing from there. I would say that would be where I start. How about you?
Yeah, definitely agree with what you're saying. And I would also say, so just of course, to be transparent, CAC is our side hustle. And we started financial literacy teaching separately because they were individual. It was individually our passions, and we came together to just be even stronger. And that's something that you find with something that you're really passionate about, is that it attracts other people who are passionate about it as well. And you get excited about it. You find ways to monetize it. We are both big fans of ChatGPT and other forms of AI to get ideas to talk monetization strategies so that you can pivot. And like Shantae mentioned, there are definitely going to be times with that or certain tasks that you're not as fond of. Maybe
Mhm.
if you're someone who likes being quiet and it forces you to do some marketing, or if it's someone who likes doing the marketing and being the front of face, but you got some admin tasks that need to be done. Like there's always something that's not necessarily your favorite, but it's like, how can you still have fun with it? And also think about who is it that you're trying to serve? Because at the end of the day, you are looking for customers who are important to you, customers who you want to provide value to. And that is really what makes a side hustle exciting to do. And that's why we love doing it. That's why we love talking about it, is because this is a passion of ours. And we find that there are people who need the help. That's why we're so glad that you guys are here. This is our first time doing the Money Talk live. We've been doing it recording and posting it on our socials. But to be able to have an audience engage with you guys has truly been just awesome to experience. So I'm curious to know if there's anyone who has any questions about side hustles or scams, making sure that you stay away from those. But also, do you have any questions for us? Of course, we will be sending out a follow-up email from here. Again, we mentioned our population survey. And the population survey is to help us serve you, to answer your questions, to update our products, to provide more information to whatever can help you as you're going through your financial journey, because we're all kind of at different spaces, whether we're at the beginning of a budget or we are trying to maximize our investments or maximize our credit card rewards. Like we're in different places. So we want to learn more about you and where you want to grow.
Yeah, and for all that who joined, we're really excited, and this is our first time being able to have this conversation a little bit more with the community. We always are trying to touch and understand and feel what you guys are dealing with. So if you're feeling this is like something you really love, some thumbs ups will be good, or saying yes in the chat if you'd like to be on more of these, so that we know this is kind of a format that you guys would like to be a part of. And for all that who have joined, in that follow-up email, we'll be sending out a discount code for you guys to get a free budget template. We're so thankful for you guys to be a part of this conversation with us. And we want to give you guys something back to say, hey, throughout your financial journey, like Ashley said, we're all in different places, but it doesn't hurt to have a template in case you're needing some support in regards to budgeting and managing your finances and things of that nature. So we'll be sending that out to you guys as a thank you for being a part of our conversation today.
Yeah. And don't forget, we do have more money talks that will be coming up soon, more that will be live still this year. We also have a workshop that we're scheduling for next month. So if you follow us on Eventbrite, if that's how you found us, then you'd be able to receive a notification when that goes live in the coming weeks. But thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it. And look out for those emails, and we will see you again soon. Have a great night.
Thank you guys. Bye.